The betrayal of Jesus by Judas Iscariot remains one of the most agonizing and intellectually challenging puzzles in biblical theology. It sits at the absolute epicenter of the tension between divine sovereignty, God's control over history, and human responsibility, man's moral agency. To answer whether Judas was predestined to betray Jesus, we must navigate the scripts of the Old Testament prophets, the internal motivations of Judas himself, and the philosophical nature of God's foreknowledge. The strongest evidence for the predestination of Judas lies in the necessity of the event. For the New Testament writers, the betrayal was not a tragic accident, but the fulfillment of a divine blueprint. Jesus himself frequently alluded to the fact that his death and the betrayal leading to it was written in the scrolls. In John 13:18, Jesus quotes Psalm 41:9, "He who shared my bread has turned against me." He explicitly states that this is happening so that the scripture may be fulfilled. In his high priestly prayer, John 17:12, Jesus refers to Judas as the son of perdition, or the one doomed to destruction. The phrase suggests a specific destiny or a role that Judas was born to play within the cosmic drama of the Passion. In the book of Acts, Peter preaches that Jesus was delivered up according to the definite plan and foreknowledge of God, Acts 2:23. If the crucifixion was planned, then the mechanism of that crucifixion, the betrayal, was arguably part of that plan. If Judas was merely a puppet on a string, then the biblical condemnation of his actions seems unjust. However, the Bible consistently treats Judas as a moral agent who made conscious, self-interested choices. The Gospels do not paint Judas as a tragic figure forced into sin. Instead, they highlight his greed. John 12:6 notes that Judas was a thief who stole from the ministry's money bag. His betrayal was the climax of a long-term pattern of spiritual compromise. During the Last Supper, Jesus offers Judas several outs. By dipping the bread and handing it to him, a gesture of special honor in Middle Eastern culture, Jesus was extending a final appeal to Judas's heart. If Judas were strictly predestined in a mechanical sense, his later remorse and suicide, Matthew 27:3-5, would be nonsensical. His guilt proves that he knew the choice was his own. The key to resolving this tension lies in the distinction between foreknowledge and causality. In biblical theology, God exists outside of time. Because he is eternal, he can see a future event without being the direct cause of it. This is often explained through the lens of compatibilism, the idea that God's sovereign decree and man's free choice are compatible. God did not force Judas to be greedy or to harbor resentment toward Jesus' mission. Rather, God, in his omniscience, saw the existing darkness in Judas's heart and ordained that this specific darkness would be the vehicle through which the light of the world was sacrificed. God did not create the evil in Judas. He merely channeled it toward a redemptive purpose. Jesus offers the most chilling synthesis of this problem in Matthew 26:24. "The Son of Man goes as it is written of him, but woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that man if he had not been born." This single sentence holds both truths in tension. As it is written, the event was fixed and sovereignly decreed. Woe to that man. The individual is still held 100% accountable for the action. Why does this matter? If Judas were purely predestined without choice, he would be a victim, not a villain. If he were purely free without God's plan, then the salvation of humanity was left to the whims of a greedy thief. The biblical narrative insists on a middle path. Judas was chosen to be an apostle, giving him every opportunity for grace. He chose to reject that grace for 30 pieces of silver. God, knowing this choice from eternity past, wove it into the very tapestry of the gospel. Was Judas predestined? Yes, in the sense that his actions were foreknown and incorporated into God's sovereign plan. Was he a free agent? Yes, in the sense that he acted according to his own desires and was not coerced by God into sin. Judas stands as a warning that one can be close to the light, even sitting at the table with the Son of God, and still choose the darkness. His life shows that while God can use evil for good, the person who commits the evil remains responsible for their choice.